Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones.
Welcome to Game of Thrones Chat, Season 6, Episode 9, Battle of the Bastards. I'm Dan. I'm Unsullied. I have not read the books in the series Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin.
I'm Thomas. I'm double solid because I've read the books twice.
We are here to discuss this episode, which was very, very groundbreaking, I would say.
Very, very special, I'll say.
Yeah, special indeed.
Yes, we start in Marine. We see this focus on a catapult. And the catapult is taking part in the siege on Marine. They're throwing these huge rocks at the city and the pyramid where Dany and Tyrion is hanging out.
Oh, yes.
And Tyrion
this was great. Very nice.
Yes,
nice
very
effects.
well done. Absolutely. Very nice effects. And you see Dany is there basically asking Tyrion, what have you done to my city while I was gone? Well, I mean, considering the city was in the chaos when she left, I don't think she has that much to reproach Tyrion about. I mean, I think he kept it together as well as can be expected, actually.
If I was Dany, I would have expected something like this when I returned. This is actually quite good for her, right? The ships are there; they weren't there before.
Worked out perfectly.
She had another fleet when she left.
That is true. So, but now there's another fleet here. But I mean, she could have returned a couple of days later, and everything would have been burned to the ground, and everybody would have been dead. So, I don't think she has that much to complain about, considering.
No, and we knew this would be pretty easy. That the Masters stood no chance.
Mm-hmm. But we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit there. First, she talks about having a plan, and the plan is basically kill everybody and burn everything.
It's her father's plan, right?
She's going old school.
Yes.
And Tyrion suggests restraint, not killing everybody, and he is comparing her to her father there, and trying to make her learn from his mistakes. And
finally, Tyrion makes a difference, and is back in old style, right? People have complained that he didn't have anything to do this season.
Mm-hmm.
Here he is doing things.
Yeah, before he just drank and knew things, but now he's actually making a difference.
Oh, yeah.
So we see... What's that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so now we see then the Dany and Tyrion and Missandei and Grey Worm. They have a parley with the emissaries of the Masters. And the Masters like, yeah, you're gonna go away, you're gonna give us back everything, and we're gonna kill the dragons. And then Dany...
What are they thinking here? Of course, their intel work is sloppy, so they don't know about the Dothraki, but they have seen Drogon, right? They couldn't have missed him.
I don't get, and they obviously know about the other dragons because they say that the dragons are going to be slaughtered.
Yes, they were looking at the pyramid when Drogon landed there and left her.
Well, he did that in the night.
Oh, that's right, he did.
And he's black.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So maybe, I don't know. I mean, she says, we obviously did not communicate clearly. We're here to discuss your surrender. And then the dragon shows up as on cue, as if she's communicating telepathically with it. So she has developed some kind of telepathy since the last time, or I don't know.
I think she had that the last time we saw her, because Drogon, she was just, Drogon is nearby, right?
Yeah, but now But back then it was like, okay, she could jump on him when she wanted to, but now it's more like she can make him show up at the exact moment she wants him to show up for dramatic effect.
Well, I'm buying that because she sensed Drogon the last time we saw her, so I think there is a telepathic link between them.
Okay, so maybe there is a telepathic link, and maybe that's why the other dragons break out when she takes flight.
Yep.
So now she has that power. So I guess we have to buy it. I think it's sloppy. I think there should be some kind of explanation that now she has the control that she lacked before. Because if she had this control before, why did she have to lock them up?
Very true.
And they attack the ships, but they only attack one ship because they want to keep the rest of the armada. Yes. So apparently she can restrain them. They don't just go berserk as we were afraid they were going to do.
At this point of the episode, I was just orgasming all over the place, pretty much. I was, this is so great.
Yeah.
I had no criticism in me. And believe me, I will try to save it to the end, but I have a lot of criticism for this episode. But I will try to stay happy for a while. And I was really happy when there were 3 dragons. They were so much smaller than Drogon as well.
Yeah.
Which I liked.
That there was an actual difference because of their the way they'd been raised, so on.
Yeah, because we were told that they were stunted in the growth if they were chained up.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That the first thing you think is that, wow, these special effects, this is just amazing, and riding the dragon, it's really cool. For me, maybe I thought of it sooner, that why is this working? I mean, the slavers are so surprised by Drogon, and they shouldn't be, and I don't know.
They are surprised because of his size. That they saw him when he was like dog-sized, big dog-size.
Yeah.
And they know that he has grown, but they don't know that he has grown to this extent. So I feel that their surprise is based merely on his size.
Okay, so maybe this is something that we can explain away then.
Yeah, I don't feel like we need to explain away a lot. I'm buying it all.
Okay.
All Marine this episode.
Yeah. And then we see Grey Worm kill 2 of the masters, but they spare the 3rd master so we can go back to the cities and tell them what happened there.
Do you think the masters were stupid to fall for this? That they thought that they could argue that guy was lowborn and that he had to die?
Stupid, yeah, but that's the way they roll.
Yeah, I thought so too. This is their nature, and in a situation, in a crisis, it comes out.
Yeah. But I mean, they're talking to slaves, and they're like, oh, look at him, he's lowborn. Like, yeah, but I'm slave, come on.
So they're keeping the guy that wanted to sell Tyrion to a cock merchant. He's quite the survivor.
But you're thinking of the pirate that wanted to sell him to that merchant.
Oh, sorry, yeah. This was the guy...
This was the guy who bought him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the cock merchant.
Tyrion is pretty happy he's not.
I think this guy has come a long way. He was like a simple slave trader, and then he became a master of one of the cities, and now he's the only master remaining.
The only step upwards for him left now is cock merchant, right?
Or ambassador to Daenerys, more likely.
But that's much lower on the totem pole.
Yeah, but the victory is complete, and they didn't drag this out anymore, which I'm kind of sad about. I would have loved to see more fighting in Marine. But we have the Dothraki coming in, of course. Yeah,
the Sons of the Harpy are now outside the city, randomly attacking people, and then the thousands of Dothraki show up. And are we led to believe then that they kill all the Sons of the Harpy right there? Is that what happened, or?
I think they just wanted to show some Sons of the Harpy getting killed by the Dothraki, but I think the Sons of the Harpy, they have to survive anyway. They just have to take off their mask and blend in with the populace.
Yeah, if the Sons of the Harpy were run by the masters, why did they stop with the guerrilla warfare before they attack?
I think they wanted to make the Daenerys team feel safe.
Okay. Well, they succeeded in that, I guess.
Yeah. I think now, with this victory, the biggest problem for Daenerys is that there are 100,000 Dothraki within Marine.
Yeah.
That must be pretty bad.
You need a lot of ships to get them out of there.
Yep. So I can see some problems with this Dothraki coming into Marine.
Yeah, and you can actually have too big an army. There's just so many people to feed that you can't feed them all, and people start dying from that. So, but anyway, she did get the Armada, and we see in the next scene that she gets another 100 ships from Yara and Theon.
Yeah, I really expected them to show up for the battle, so I was surprised that they didn't. But I wasn't surprised for very long, because there they were.
Yeah, or maybe like a shot of their ships going into harbor or something, just to establish that they're there now. But that's okay.
No time for that.
No time for that. No, don't spend money on that. Instead, we get a longer discussion, and Yara really impresses Daenerys, I think.
I'd like to talk about the Tyrion-Theon conversation.
Uh-huh. Where Tyrion says, "Hey Theon, you insulted me last time while making short jokes."
This was in season 1, episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look back on that conversation, Tyrion is forced to do some exposition. He's pretty much telling the audience the story of Theon.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much Tyrion beating down on Theon. He is not very nice to Theon, and Theon calls him dwarf and stuff, but I think this is one of his nicer scenes in the early seasons. So Tyrion isn't giving a very good picture of what happened in that scene.
No, Tyrion talks about, your father was stupid and you got your brothers killed and now you're a prisoner here and so on. Yeah,
but the Dany Yara stuff, very nice.
But I think maybe there was more, maybe Theon picked on Tyrion more than we saw in these scenes.
Yeah, maybe
so
he did.
Maybe it can be explained away that way. But yes, you were saying something about Yara and Dany?
Yeah, their conversation was very, very good. One of the high points of the episode, I think.
Yeah. It's like, so do you come with a marriage proposal? Well, not really, but I'm up for anything.
Yeah. And they managed to remove the idea of teaming up with Euron for Dany.
Yeah.
And then they all bonded because they had crappy dads.
Yeah.
And this was the Father's Day episode, right? In the US.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so bad daddy day.
Yeah. And Yara here gets independence from the Iron Islands.
That's weird, right? Because all the rulers of Westeros feel that the Iron Islands belong to Westeros. Like, they are the seventh and a half kingdom.
Yeah. Well, the Riverlands is like the 8th kingdom, but Riverlands is one of the kingdoms. Absolutely. Although they do have their own gods, so they're kind of remote, but still, Daenerys, will she be Queen of Westeros if the Iron Islands is not part of her domain?
I was surprised at that, and I was surprised at Yara's acceptance of that they would stop reaving, roving, raiding, or raping.
Yeah.
So if they don't do that, what will the Iron Islanders do?
Not so.
So what will they spend their time doing?
I think they have some kind of food production, and I think they have iron mines.
Okay.
They have very little, if no, timber, I think, on the main island. So they have to trade their iron ore then for that. But
especially after they built 1,000 ships.
Yeah, no, they built those out of iron, I guess.
Oh, bad idea.
Well, modern ships are built that way, but anyway, I think though what we're forgetting here is that there has been 300 years of Westeros being united under Targaryen rule.
That's true. So there is something for them to do.
So they have been able to survive without reaving, roving, raping, or pillaging.
They really want to do that.
They really like it. I mean, so it's their hobby at least, if not their profession.
I have a suggestion for Daenerys. Because this episode is filled with historical references.
Yeah.
And, in the United Kingdom, there was the problem of the Highlanders. The Highlanders always wanted to rebel against London. So what they did finally was to put all the violent Highlanders in a regiment and then send them across the empire, like, go beat up people. And the Highlanders were, yeah, we get to beat up people. So I would make like an attack fleet composed of Iron Islanders and then send them at the very slightest provocation, just send the Iron Islanders.
Yeah, they could just go round and round Essos all year long.
Yes, send them to places. Find someone to fight with. Send them to Penthos.
Yeah, she did say that there was no more reaving and roping and so on, raiding, whatever. But roping and raping and that
reading.
Her argument was that she has to protect the integrity of Westeros. Do you think that they will be allowed to do this stuff outside of Westeros, in Essos?
Well, the Dothraki will want to do that too, so there is a future problem for Daenerys.
Maybe they can rape each other, the Dothraki and the Ironborn.
Grotesque. Let's go to the north.
Go to the north.
I love the marine stuff in this episode, and I hope for all that is holy that Daenerys finally leaves for Westeros in the very next episode.
Yeah, I loved it too, although I hated it a little bit because I think there was some bad writing in there, but there was also some good writing and very good special effects.
I think the writing was excellent compared to the rest of the episode.
It was excellent compared to anything.
Okay, let's go on.
I mean, yeah, but you're very right. But the North, that writing was horrible compared to anything. Yeah, in the North, we start with a parley here with Jon and Sansa and Ramsay and the others.
Yes, I am surprised that there was a parley. What do they hope to get here? What's the goal with this parley? I think the goal of Ramsay is clear. He just wants to taunt them into making mistakes.
Yeah.
What do they want in this parley?
Well, Jon wants to do the same thing.
Oh yeah, he does. He thinks he's clever, but he isn't.
Yeah, he challenges Ram. I mean, it's not stupid, really. It's kind of smart, clever of him to say that I challenge you. There is a small chance that Ramsay will accept. And also, like he says, well, what will people think when they find out that you wouldn't fight for them?
Yeah, good attempt, Jon, but
yeah, not good enough.
Quite
but
get there.
I can absolutely see why he tried to do that, and they talked about it afterwards. Like, did you really think? Well, I thought it was worth a chance or something like that, worth a shot. And then they talk about Rickon, and actually, I think it's Ramsay who brings up Rickon. I would think that Sansa and Jon will be interested in getting him back, but they don't talk about him until Ramsay does. And then it's like, well, we don't have any proof that you have him. And then they throw out this direwolf's head.
Yes.
And apparently they can recognize. Well, I guess maybe there aren't that many direwolves around, but I guess they can see the difference between a direwolf head and a regular wolf's head.
I think actually Jon would recognize Shaggy. Oh no, he left just a couple of days later.
After it's been rotting for months or weeks. Or...
Oh, it is obviously conserved.
Very well. They have much better ways of conserving things than they did during the medieval days, at least.
Even in this weird thaw weather we have here, because it isn't winter anymore, right?
Yeah, it was much colder last season.
Yes, it's thawing. The long winter is over.
Yeah. Okay, I guess the whole thing, the thing with the wolf's head and the thing with the winter, I think just that time is in some kind of flux now. We have talked about this before, how some plot lines goes very fast, other goes very slow. I think we could just forget about time and continuum and everything.
Yeah, let's just not dwell on that, because we need to not talk about that.
Yeah, so we mentioned it, but let's move forward and just accept that they have no concept of time anymore in this series.
I have to talk about this direwolf head again.
Okay.
Jon has spent a lot of time with Ghost. He knows exactly how big Ghost is. And Ghost was the runt of the litter. Every other direwolf was bigger than Ghost.
Yeah.
And this head is so small. So when I saw Jon looking at the head, I was like, okay, now he's going to recognize that this isn't Shaggy Dog and that small Jon is on his side. So I was actually, small Jon is still loyal. The Umbers, their number one trait, loyal to the Starks. But, oh no, didn't happen.
That would have been really cool.
Yes. I thought that the first scene after this parley would be Jon telling them that, that wasn't Shaggy Dog. But it was Shaggy Dog, apparently.
It would have been really cool, and Jon just looks at Small Number and he gives him the smallest nod or something.
Oh, yes. I would have loved that.
Yep, but we got something else instead. So, and then Sansa is angry and rides away. Yeah. And this is interesting for the last scene of the episode, but...
yeah, and she keeps her promise, which is awesome. She makes a promise now that she intends to keep.
Yeah, that he's gonna die. Yeah. And then we have Council of War. And Davos and Jon does know what a double envelopment or a pincer movement is, but Foreman does not, so they have to kind of explain it to him.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
So they are going to dig these trenches that will keep the cavalry away, right?
Okay,
That's what they're saying.
They haven't dug them yet, so they're going to dig them during the night.
And I don't see anyone digging. in the morning. Are the trenches there or not?
I didn't see any trenches. Did you see trenches?
No, I didn't see any trenches. I didn't see anyone digging. We saw people in camp after this, but nobody was digging. Everybody was just ignoring this decision from the war.
Digging ditches take like 5 seconds. You can dig them as the other people are charging, It's really
I got the feeling that everybody thought somebody else was digging the ditches.
It's not like the ground is hard from the ice or snow or anything. It's really fast work.
Yes.
And then everybody just decided to party instead or something. Drink fermented goat's milk, I don't know.
Oh yes, we'll talk about that. But first we need to talk about Sansa and Jon.
Sansa does not like Jon's plans, but she has no better suggestion of her own. And she complains that, well, you should listen to me, okay? Say your piece. I have nothing to say.
But she has something to say.
She does have something to say.
It.
She just says, no, this is a bad plan. She knows that she probably doesn't know exactly where Littlefinger is, but she knows that he is on the way, or at least that she sent a letter to him, and she knows that he could be on the way.
Yes.
But Jon Snow's like, well, what can we do? There's no other men to have. And she's like, why does she not say anything? And I think what a lot of people think, okay, Sansa is really stupid here.
Yeah.
But she can't be that stupid. She can't forget about it. No, she can't be that stupid. So I was trying to make up some kind of rationale for this. Like, maybe she's evil. Maybe she wants Jon and Jon's whole army to die.
Maybe she does.
Maybe she wants Rickon to die as well. So then that when Littlefinger shows up, he can pick up the pieces, and with Jon and Rickon dead, she can be Queen of the North.
That would be amazing, actually. That's the out from this incredibly weird decision to not tell Jon. From the very beginning, she has kept this secret, which makes Sansa Stark directly responsible for the death, the extinction of the giants, and quite possibly the extinction of the free folk.
Mm-hmm.
So many wildlings die unnecessary in this episode, just because of Sansa.
But seeing Sansa so evil would be horrible, but also kind of interesting. But the bad thing is, this doesn't work. If she was this evil, she would see that Jon has drawn up a plan that will not work, and she'd be like, yeah, well, good luck. She would not try to reason with him.
No, it makes no sense.
It's completely irrational.
I am so sick of Sansa at this point. I think she's just... she has been written as a victim. She is just the victim all the time. And now she is a stupid victim. That's the kindest you could say about her, because she's responsible for the slaughter. Yeah,
I felt the same way as you do, but I have gone beyond that. I don't longer think that she's stupid or evil. I just think it's bad writing. I'm not mad at her. I'm mad at the writers, because they made her act completely irrational just to have a big finale of the episode.
Yes.
That was unexpected, or semi-unexpected.
It wasn't unexpected. Everybody was expecting this. I don't think anyone watching this, if you know somebody who watched this episode, that were like, oh, the Knights of the Whale, I'm so surprised. Tell me in the comments, because I think everybody knew this. I think I predicted it before the season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I definitely predicted it from Littlefinger's weird visit to Molestown.
Yeah. And if there was any doubt, we saw at the beginning of the episode, Aidan Gillen, the name of Littlefinger, his name is mentioned there. So we know that he's going to show up sooner or later in the episode.
Yeah, and here is my rant about this episode. It needs to come here, I think.
Okay.
This was a groundbreaking piece of cinema, I would say. Not even TV. This was perhaps the best representation of a medieval battle ever made. The fighting, the directing, it was the same guy who directed Hardhome. And I think this episode has the same problems that Hardhome has, because I wasn't really keen on Hardhome as well. But the directing was fantastic. The technical stuff, the editing, the sound, everything is so perfect. But they have gone beyond the books, and somebody else has to write this. And it suffers terribly. The writing is so bad.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, because with good writing, this could have been the best piece of media ever produced. But now I don't think it's even top 3 among the episodes from this season.
Yeah.
But I was ecstatic about parts of this episode, and we'll come back to them because they are coming. But the writing, why?
Yeah, it's so frustrating to see this. It's such an epic episode in the ways that you describe it, production-wise, directing, sound, and so on. And the scene where John is fighting there and people are just dying around him, several scenes, it's so amazing.
This is the best representation of the Battle of Cannae ever made. And we'll talk more about that battle later. But I have to rant more, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Look at the epic, groundbreaking episodes of every season. The first season, we lost Ned Stark. And we were like, what?
Yeah.
And then we had the Battle of the Blackwater. I had no idea what was going to happen. Everything that happened at Blackwater was like, oh, wow, what's happening? How is this going to end? I have no idea. I loved it. In the third season, we had the Red Wedding. Enough said. I had to stop. I had to rewatch the whole episode. And I was like, they can't do this. Nobody can do this. This is such an outrage. And it's so awesome.
Yeah.
After the Watchers on the Wall in season 4, I just sat back and played the episode all over. And I was like, as I told you in this podcast, when the giant charged and they were reading the oath, I paused because I was too excited. I was afraid that my heart was going to burst because it was so fantastic. And I had no idea that episode could have ended with the wall falling.
Yeah.
There were such stakes in these episodes.
Yeah.
In season 5, we had Hardhome, and Hardhome was somewhat predictable, but it was...
Was that episode 9?
No, it was episode 8. Episode 9 was the burning of Shireen, but that was the sort of big, epic episode where all the money went, where all the CGI budget was spent, etc. And Hardhome was still great compared to the writing in this episode, because in all of those episodes, I didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, the stakes are so high. Here, we had no stakes. We knew that the Knights of the Whale would come at the end, and that it would win the day. We knew that Jon wouldn't die, and if he died, he would just be resurrected. We knew that Sansa was probably safe. What I was wondering, I felt that I knew that one was going to die because he was a budget drain. You had to CGI him. He was hard to keep in scenes, etc. They had to have that money for the dragons in the upcoming seasons. So one was goner. I was kind of, they could get Rickon, but it would be kind of cheesy. So Rickon is probably dead. So my only worry I had in this episode was, is Davos gonna live? Is Tormund gonna live? And that's very small stakes for something that could be an epic battle. This could have been as fantastic as the Battle of Helm's Deep or the Battle of Pelennor Fields in the Ring trilogy. That thing had an amazing budget compared to this.
Yeah.
I'm happy that Green Slime didn't win this battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I think I ranted enough.
I agree with you in almost every way, except I wasn't sure that the giant was going to die. And also I wasn't sure that Jon Snow wasn't going to die.
But if Jon Snow died, it didn't matter. They even had that talk. We are going to have that talk soon. But so you are going to be resurrected whether you want it or not.
I think we can agree that we both love and hate this episode.
Oh, yes.
And I can't figure out which I do more. So why don't you anybody in the comments write love or hate, so we know if you hate it more than you love it, or if you love it more than you hate it.
And I would still write love, because this was a fantastic episode, but it had these taints that I very much wish it didn't have. Okay, let's proceed with the recap.
Let's try to be a little bit more positive, because there are awesome things in this as well.
Yes, everybody will hate me for this rant. But
well,
anyway, I have to tell you what I think.
I love you for the rant, because I agree with it.
Okay.
Okay, so then we have Davos and Tormund has a little talk there, and we learn that Tormund is going to have some fermented goat's milk to get drunk.
And that Davos is going to take a crap in the woods.
But instead of taking a crap in the woods, he goes out and finds the pyre where Shireen was burnt.
Oh, yes.
And he finds this toy stag that's made of asbestos or something. I don't know, it didn't burn at least.
I think I was going to go back to rewatch this, and this is your homework now, listener. Go back, rewatch the scene, see where the stag ended up. Because my impression was that she dropped it long before the pyre, so it wasn't on the pyre. So I felt that it was totally realistic for the stag to be there.
Okay, so she dropped it long before the pyre, or just next to the pyre, or?
No, I think she didn't bring it when she was going to the pyre.
But it was lying there beneath a piece of firewood, I think. So it's basically in the pyre.
Yes.
But it didn't burn.
But that fire looked very small, so maybe it was just a campfire.
Oh, okay. So they built another. They built a campfire.
To save this.
Okay. Okay, let's move on then to John and Melisandre, and he goes.
Before we do, I just like to comment that I really love Davos and Tormund's conversation. This is the stuff that I wish it was a longer season with more episodes. They could fill it with stuff like this, like they did in the early seasons.
Yeah.
So this was very good.
So you want to have a spin-off with Davos and Tormund?
No, just these character moments when they talk to each other. Oh.
Yeah.
And the kings are bad.
But Jon Snow is not a king.
No, he's an idiot.
Who tells Melisandre, "Don't bring me back."
Yep. Can't do that.
And she's like, "I don't care what you say. I follow the god, and he tells me things, or he'll bring you back or not. I don't know." But so Jon has kind of a death wish here.
Yes,
he wants to die.
Yeah. And he has been moopy all series, so I can buy that.
Mm-hmm.
It also rhymes very well with what Beric Dondarrion told people in season 3, that every time he's brought back, he's lost something. And Jon looks quite depressed.
Yeah. But he doesn't take his own life, at least, so he's kind of like, doesn't really care, I don't know.
No, it doesn't work. She will just bring him back.
So he has to kill her first, then.
Yeah, good start.
Okay, so now we move to the battle time.
But I have a question here.
Okay.
About Melisandre. So after this scene, where is she during the battle?
Hanging out in her tent?
With Ghost, apparently, because he's also totally absent from this episode.
I forgot about Ghost, but I guess they did too, so that's okay, right?
So, earlier in the season we heard that, okay, we have less men, but we have a giant, a witch, and a direwolf. And when the battle arrives, it's like, witch is missing, and the direwolf is missing.
But she could heal the giant back to life, or maybe not. That would cost too much.
I thought this was a little weird, but okay, let's go to the battle.
And apparently Ramsay found some people to burn and flay and put on burning crosses.
Yeah, who are those people?
Some random prisoners, maybe?
Yeah, I'm sure he has plenty of random prisoners.
Or maybe he just got some volunteers to...
Or maybe he was just like, okay, which 5 soldiers have made the worst job? Let's just flay and burn them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, he doesn't really care. He just wants to have a nice-looking battleground.
Yes.
And then I thought, he brings out Rickon, and I thought, okay, he's going to start skinning him to force Jon to attack. But instead he does target practice on him.
That would have been so much better if he had done that.
To skin him?
Yes,
yeah.
That would have been in character, and okay, this was also in character, but it would have been more logical, because this thing is not logic at all. But Ramsay isn't. He is such a madman, so he could do it this way, but...
Yeah. Well, if the plan is to draw out Jon to halfway between 2 armies, so that he can have his archers shoot him, I guess it worked. But it's so easy for Ramsay to miss.
Yes.
He should have missed. It's way out of his effective range there at the end. And if Rickon would just run a little bit to the side once every few minutes, he would have missed.
Yeah, I think everybody was screaming at the screen like,
Serpentine!
Yeah, Serpentine, don't run in a straight line, Rickon. What the hell are you doing? Why are the Starks so stupid in this episode? I think actually that Ramsay deserved to win this battle if we were not judging his moral character, but only his battle plan, because he has a solid strategy for this battle.
Yeah.
Whereas the Starks are just making stupid mistakes and getting saved by Littlefinger.
But if I can make some excuses here for Ramsey, one way to look at it is that he lets Rickon run, and then if Rickon starts serpentining right away, he knows that he won't be able to hit him, so then he has his horseman bring him back before he's run too far. But if he sees that, he's running in a straight line, then I know I can hit him.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. There was also another out for Rickon here. Can you think of it?
Just lie down or run backwards?
He could hide behind one of the burning guys, right?
Yeah, but then Ramsey could just have his horseman bring him out because the crosses were too close to him.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so bobbing and weaving was the solution.
Yes, but he will never know that.
But what is John doing here? This is like we had one strategy, John. This was the plan. We had a plan. The only thing you can do to spoil this plan is to charge by yourself. And what does he do?
Yeah. What about if he sends another horseman?
Yeah. Send the guy to bring him back.
Yeah, some other guy. Fastest horseman you have. But he's Jon Snow and he's not going to ask anybody else to do what he can do himself.
I was also thinking that there was a possibility. I was waiting for Ramsey to say to Rickon, do as we said, Reek, or something. That he had managed to Reekify Rickon.
Oh.
And that Rickon would perhaps do an Edmure.
Recon,
yeah. He would go over and do what Edmure did. I am the king of the north. Then obey me. And then just give the army to Ramsey. Or something like that. But that didn't happen.
Oh, that would have been... I don't know. That would not have worked. We're talking wildlings here, not Tullis. So
but Rickon dies. And what a strange way to come back to Game of Thrones. He was away for 3 years. He comes back, doesn't have a single line because he is in puberty.
Gets called Little Man by Ramsey.
Yeah, and he's bigger than Ramsey.
Half his age, twice his size.
So do you mourn for Rickon Stark? King of the North.
King of the North. The King of the North. Sure, why not?
Yeah, it felt very little when he died.
Yeah, I feel a lot more for Jon Snow.
Jon, what? Oh, this decision. I can't stand it.
I would have liked him to not charge then when he got halfway. Like, no, I'm going to turn back then and follow the plan. Like, no, I'm going to just die.
Yeah, that's incredibly stupid. And I don't think Jon is this stupid. I didn't buy this for a second. Like, okay, now I'm angry, so I'm going to sacrifice all of my army, everyone I know, because I am just so emotional right now.
It feels bad to call him stupid, considering how stupid Sansa is. But I just said that Sansa isn't stupid, he's just completely irrational. So, yes, okay, so he's stupid.
This scene, when he stands there with his sword and the cavalry charges him, that was very impressive.
Yeah, very nice scene. And it was all real also.
It was, right?
Well, that's what they say anyway, that it was all real. It wasn't CGI. They had horses charging him, and then they just, of course, they reared off in the last second.
Yeah. And when the horses clash...
Oh, it's just chaos. And you look behind him there, and horses go running back and forth, and he's fighting, and he's just about to die, and then someone else charges into the horse that was going to charge him. And
I've never seen a battle this intense. A medieval battle where you really got the feeling that you were there in the middle, and it was chaos, and
Yeah, so well done. I mean, I think a lot of people thought about Braveheart when they saw this.
Yeah, I think Braveheart was groundbreaking in 95, but I think this is a natural progression of the scale, and this was much better.
Mm-hmm. And I think also people, at least I thought of Braveheart when we see the Ramsay losing arrows, having his men lose arrows into the pile of people.
Yes.
Into the chaos, and David's like, no, we just end up killing our own men. But Ramsay doesn't care, and he has reserves.
Can you do this decision to kill his own cavalry, which seemed to be an edge that he had? He had more cavalry, right? So he's just killing his own cavalry to get rid of the cavalry that Jon has. But
they said before that they had many more horses, but then when this battle begins, it looks like the cavalry is fairly evenly matched.
Yeah, that's strange.
Or it looks that way anyway. But then the wildling infantry closes up before before Ramsay Bolton's infantry joins in. But The cavalry is holding its own for a while at least.
Yes.
So they can't have that much less cavalry. I don't know what happened there. They just forgot about it, I guess.
Yeah, it was weird. I was thinking about that too. You know what this battle lacked as well?
What?
It lacked epic speeches. You have to have an epic speech before a battle. And the best speech was the speech of Small John Umber, I think.
Yeah, he did a rapid speech there. Yeah. Who holds the North? Yeah.
And the Umbers do, but they are apparently not aware that they should have betrayed Rams at this point. I was still hoping for it.
Yeah, I was surprised by the pile of bodies. Suddenly there's a 10-feet pile of bodies. And were you surprised by it? Did it make sense to you that the pile was so big so fast?
Yeah, we had this, the cavalry crashing and getting pested with arrows, so I was buying that. But yeah, it was pretty significant. And they talked about this on Inside the Episode for this episode.
Yeah.
Because this was based on the American Civil War, the pile of bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So that was from depictions of the Civil War.
But what you need is you have to have several people dying in the same spot and falling on top of each other. Then someone else is trying to climb over that and then are killed as they're climbing.
Yes.
So then you have to have like lines and lines of people dying on top of that pile to fall down to make the pile bigger.
Yeah, and be extra forgiving here because I thought it was so cool. So.
Yeah, it would make sense if you're like surrounded on three sides by, say, a phalanx. And there's only one way to run, and then you try to run over that pile. But the pile was there before the phalanx surrounded the troops.
Oh, yes, it was. I thought it was the slaughtered cavalry.
Okay, let's forget about the pile. It didn't make that much sense, but sure, there's other things that... it still was kind of interesting. It's not something you see in every battle scene.
Definitely not.
And Davos brings in the reserves, and then Ramsay orders in the phalanx to surround the wildlings on three sides.
Yes.
And the wildlings are like, we are surrounded, that's okay, we don't really know what's going on.
I was screaming Kanai at the screen, and inside the episode they revealed that this was actually based on the Battle of Cannae in 216 BC, when Hannibal defeated a much larger Roman army with his Carthaginian and mixed forces in exactly this way. Also the tactic used by the US in the Kuwait War in 1990.
And the pincer moment has been used in many other...
Yeah, this is perhaps the most famous tactic in any warfare.
And usually you retreat in the middle and then you attack on the sides and then you you surround the enemy. Here the troops just marched in a strange formation and surrounded them. And it always made me wonder, did the Boltons just invent the phalanx right now, or has the phalanx been around for a long time?
I've got the feeling that the Tyrell soldiers were going to fight in a phalanx. They looked like phalanx guys in the episode. They were
that's right. That's absolutely right. But they didn't have those enormous shields, and they didn't have that long pikes. They had much shorter pikes, I think, or spears.
I think Ramsay is a genius then if he invented the phalanx.
Yeah, for this specific battle. But I really liked...
have existed during almost all history of warfare. It was an invention of the ancient Sumerians, pretty much. So
yeah, and I would say perfected by Philip of Macedon and his son Alexander the Great.
Definitely.
But also during medieval days, the heavy horse dominated the battlefield because the phalanx formation was forgotten for a long time.
Yes.
And some say that it was the Scots who brought it back with William Wallace and so on.
Oh, cool.
This is, of course, can be discussed, but for a long time the heavy horse was so dominating because people forgot about using the phalanx. I think we can agree on that at least.
Yes. I was not aware of where the Karstarks were. We saw Lord Karstark at the beginning of at the parley, but we didn't see him for the rest of the episode, did we? Did I miss him?
No, we did see plenty of small number. He's attacking on top of the pile there.
Yeah, where are the Karstarks? We saw like the Boltons,
we saw the banners,
men, and the numbers were just fighting like wildlings. But where are the Karstarks?
Maybe they had all the archers.
Maybe they did. Maybe Karstarks are famous for their archers.
I don't know. Maybe they had lots of cavalry also. And I did see the banners there before the battles, but maybe no, I don't think so. But the phalanx, the whole phalanx thing there, and you can see how hopeless it is to fight against the phalanx with just the rabble, which are the wildlings basically are.
Yes.
And I mean, the only thing, what you have to do is you can't stay. You have to go somewhere else. You can't stay there because those pikes are going to stab at you until you're dead.
Yes.
And then they try to charge in, but if you charge in just one at a time, the people behind the shields, they have swords and axes, they can cut you down. So you have to have everybody charge at the shields at the same time.
Yep.
But if you have a rabble like that, there's not going to be enough discipline to say, attack now, and then everybody will do it.
Yeah, and as we knew from the beginning of the episode, Thormund doesn't know about tactics. They're just like individual heroic efforts on the battlefield is the wildling.
Yeah. So then what you have to do is you have to tell Wunbun to run in and create a wedge somehow so that you can attack them from the sides, because the phalanx is very weak from the side or from the back.
Yes, and when I've talked about this battle for this whole episode, I've used the term medieval battle, because I think it was a fantastic medieval battle, but it wasn't a fantastic fantasy battle, because Van was the only fantasy element, and he was so misused. It was an obvious thing to give him a weapon, just cut down a tree and give it to him. He could just sweep those, and when he was fighting the phalanx, he was like, not doing very much. He was grabbing a guy. He could have kicked them to the side. Yeah.
Or just use a big tree, or
give him armor.
Or give him a wagon or something to use as a shield when he's running up towards the enemy archers, and then when he gets there, he used to use the wagon as a club, or if you can't find a tree.
Put on him to stop the arrows. Give him a tree and a wagon, and the battle is won.
Yeah, who's going to stop him?
So I felt 1-1 was very underused in this battle, and he was also running really slowly at the beginning, and later he's running super fast, so that made no sense.
I don't know if maybe it's against his religion or something to use weapons. I don't know what the rationale is there.
I got the feeling that 1-1 was like he wasn't really a fighter. He was like the scholar of the giants or something. He was used to gardening in the north or building snow figurines or something. He was an artisan. He wasn't a fighter.
But he should be able to use some kind of tool and bring him his regular tools or something looking like it, or just a wagon. Or
yeah, the usage of the giant was weird, and he only worked, I feel, later in the siege of Winterfell, which lasted for like 5 seconds.
Grab a horse and just swing it around.
Yes.
A dead horse.
Yeah, or just throw corpses at the shield wall.
Yeah. He did grab a shield and start swinging with that at the later point, but...
Yes, 1-1 very underused here. But there was some really super good moments, like when Jon is buried under the bodies.
Yeah.
So claustrophobic.
And and then he's like almost reborn. Like in the Mysa moment with Daenerys.
Oh yes, yeah, that was epic. And of course, the best fight on the battlefield, I think, was Thormund versus Small Jon.
Yeah, where Small Jon gets the upper hand until he hears these horns blowing, and then Thormund is able to come back.
Yeah, and what a comeback!
What a comeback! Yeah.
And I felt very strongly for this fight because Thormund was at stake. He could have easily died here.
Yeah.
And the scene with Davos was like, oh no, they want us to feel more for him.
Oh.
For both of them. Maybe both will die, but none of them did.
And then Littlefinger and Sansa arrives.
Yeah, at exactly the right moment. How convenient!
And all I can think at that point is, how stupid is Sansa?
Yes.
Did I say I was not going to complain about this anymore? I lied. So the cavalry charges in, and the phalanx can't stand against the cavalry charge if it comes from the side or from the rear.
No, then that was also, they took their time to show that, and I loved it.
Yeah, but this is also awesome. The phalanx, it's awesome. The buried alive is awesome. The cavalry charges, and this cavalry charge as well is awesome.
Yes,
and you can.
Okay, go ahead, go on.
And you can see how the horses just plowing their way through the ranks there.
Yes,
and it's it's just so well done.
I was thinking about the charge of the Rohirrim in Return of the King.
Yeah.
There was another thing in this battle. Jon ran around and he impressed me a lot with his sword play. He should probably have been on the top 10 list, now at least. Maybe he has learned because he's
on your top 10 list,
fighter.
Yeah.
And
I am completely unafraid.
And my impression from the fact that he didn't get hurt at all was that he is protected by the Lord of Light. That's what I took from that the Lord of Light is keeping those arrows away from him, pretty much, because it was a bit silly that he wasn't hit at all.
Okay.
But he was very badass.
But the Littlefinger comes in and saves the day, and Ramsay retreats to Winterfell.
Yeah, another good tactical decision by Ramsay.
Yeah, and Jon and Tormund and Wun follows. And so then we have basically the Battle of Winterfell, the siege. Ramsay thinks they don't have the men for the siege, although I think Littlefinger looks like he has enough men for the siege.
Yes.
But the siege is very short because Wun just breaks down the door after being shot a million times.
Yeah. And here I absolutely knew that he was dead.
Yeah.
As soon as he went in first through the door, it was like, this will just be a heroic last stand of Wun.
Okay. And then Wildling archers run in and kill the Bolton archers.
Yes.
And then Jon runs in, and Rams is like, wait a minute, I might want to fight you one-on-one anyway because you have the upper hand now. And as he reaches for an arrow, I think, why shouldn't Jon tell his archers to shoot him down before he shot himself?
But there's also the big question why he shot Wun when Wun was down on his knees, instead of shooting Jon, who was standing right next to Wun.
That, I think, that if you have a bow, an arrow, and there's a giant before you, you have to shoot the giant, I think.
I can buy that now.
Because then you're a giant slayer.
That's true. So then he and Tormund are Giant's Bane.
Yeah, so he is a Giant's Bane, and then Jon, I don't know if it's just that Jon wants to kill him himself, or he doesn't realize that he could have his archers shoot him, or maybe he has the death wish, but he throws away his sword and picks up a shield. I guess it's good to pick up a shield because Ramsay's going to fire the arrows right where Jon wants him to fire the arrows.
Yes.
And then when he comes up, and then he gets him down and punches him a bunch of times. Ramsay could have reached for his sword there, I guess, because Jon has no sword anymore. He threw that away, but he's going to try to fire another arrow even though it's too late.
This was so surprising to me. I fully expected there to be a sword fight here. And I think this was super badass. Jon was so tough here, and every time he punched Ramsay in the mouth, it was the audience, it was we that like, here you are for all you have done, you creep. So I was loving this.
Yes, I think everybody loved it, including Kit Harington, who plays Jon Snow, because he actually punched the other actor a couple of times. He says it's by accident, and he bought him a beer afterwards, but I think we all know how they feel about it. I think it was on purpose. Yeah, and he almost kills him right there, but then he stops because he thinks Sansa should get her say in it, I think.
Yes.
And then we have a little bit of a pause there. We see the Stark banners are raised, and the Bolton banners are struck, and Rickon is buried in the crypt, and we see Davos and Melisandre inside Winterfell.
Are any Bolton banners burned?
I didn't see that.
That but was the vision of Melisandre, right? Stark banners raised, Bolton banners burned, and Jon fighting on the wall of Winterfell, or she was standing on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So this was Melisandre's vision coming true.
Okay.
And I was hoping, actually, that Ramsay would escape, because Ramsay's death brings us to a very weird storytelling position, but I'll talk more about that when he's dead, because now we have to kill him.
So then Sansa feeds him to the hounds.
Yes.
Because she... Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Because she knows that they have been not eating for 7 days.
Yes, which she didn't hear, but somebody told her that, because she has left when he said that.
Yeah, so when Jon comes back from the parley, it's like, what else did Ramsay say? Oh, he said he didn't feed his dog for 7 days. Oh, good to know, good to know.
Yeah.
continuity a little bit there, or whatever.
Sloppy writing.
She traveled back in time to figure this out.
Do you agree with Ramsay's death?
It was an expected death, don't you think?
Yes, but the way he died.
You don't buy it? You don't think the dogs would eat him because they're his hounds?
No, I could buy that. He has raised them to be savage beasts, and this time he suffered for it. Very poetic.
I think they smelled fear, and that's all it takes.
Yes. But I think several things about this. I think it is, in a sense, his final victory, because he has obviously changed Sansa. Remember the words of Ned Stark from episode 1. If you're going to execute someone, you should be the one holding the sword. But this is not what Sansa is doing. She's falling to his level. And if they intend to show us Sansa becoming evil, becoming a Cersei-like figure, this was perfect. But I don't think that's their intention.
Yeah.
Also now, with Ramsay dead, we are in a position in the story where we have never been, pretty much. Because back in season 3 and 4, we had the luxury of hating both Joffrey and Ramsay. But now we have no totally cruel, bad person that we can just hate.
Euron Greyjoy.
Yes. So I feel that Euron Grey is put in the story now just because we need to have someone to hate, because we're used to it.
Yeah. So you would have wanted to have a little bit more of hate towards him before we lost Ramsay.
There is so little left, so I can see why they're wrapping up stuff. Because after this, there are just 14 episodes left.
Yeah.
On this season, next season will be 7 episodes, and the last season will be 6 episodes.
Supposedly.
Yes. I think it is fairly clear that is what will happen.
Okay. If they don't have more material, I guess, okay.
I think the reason is that they want to spend a lot more money and make every episode into a movie, pretty much. So there's going to be a lot more special effects and stuff, big battles and stuff like that? More CGI, more stuff like that.
So every episode's going to be like this episode?
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
And very horrible also.
Yes, but I don't think they need to make these writing mistakes in every episode. But this was still a very good episode.
About hating people, we also hate the High Sparrow. Yeah,
but we don't hate him in the same way. As Joffrey or Ramsay. He has.
Especially Joffrey.
He's a bit grey, right? He's a fanatic, but he's doing it because we think still because he's pious. And not because he's evil and cruel like these guys.
Sanctimonious pastor. Yeah, I guess it was easy to see Joffrey as being just wholly evil, or Ramsay as being completely evil.
Yeah, I mean, they totally were. And it was like Roose Bolton said, right? If you behave like a wild dog, you will die like a wild dog. Getting eaten by wild dogs.
Let the dogs out.
Oh.
So... with Ramsay gone then, and the wildlings all but extinct, the only big army in the north is the one belonging to Littlefinger.
Yes.
And so the big winner here looks like it is Littlefinger.
Definitely.
So he can dictate pretty much what's going to happen in the north, and who's to object, really.
Yes, and the text of the Sansa letter has now been officially published as well.
And what does it say?
It says that if you help us, you will be rewarded.
Okay.
So I think the natural conclusion here would be Littlefinger marrying Sansa and become Warden of the North. Because there is no Stark to claim the title.
Yeah.
And I would be so angry if Littlefinger just moves to the side now. He's like, oh, I saved you, very nice. And then he has to claim the North now, right? That's why he's there.
And claim Sansa.
Yeah, I don't think Sansa is as important to him as power, but if he can have her as well, then it's a bonus.
Well, he wants everything, and she's part of everything.
And of course, we could have a reveal to Littlefinger, maybe in the next episode, about the threat, the real threat. And that could change his mind. I could buy that.
Yeah.
Did you catch the reference to Wildfire in this episode?
Well, Tyrion talked about Wildfire.
Yes. So I expect some Wildfire in the next episode.
Yeah, he mentioned that there's wildfire hidden all around beneath King's Landing.
I thought he took it all, but apparently he didn't.
Yeah, and this is also what we think that Qyburn and Cersei were talking about last episode.
Yes. So can I make some predictions?
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think, as I said before, that Cersei will die in the next episode. She will burn King's Landing, she will accidentally burn Tommen, and then she will decide to burn them all. She will be killed by Jaime, and the next season will begin with Jaime having all the power. Jaime is the head of the Lannisters. Jaime is the natural figure for everyone to rally around. And when Daenerys arrives, she will parley with Jaime. And who will do the parleying then?
Tyrion.
Yes. And who could convince Jaime to join Daenerys? Well, Tyrion could.
Yeah.
So now there is an out to sort of sort out all the differences, and then everybody can team together, which is probably what the next season will be about. For the final battle with White Walkers.
But for a brief moment there, it will be all hail King Jaime.
Yes.
So he will sit on the Iron Throne for a little while.
I hope so.
That sounds strangely reasonable somehow.
Yeah, we did talk about the Baratheon family tree, right?
Yeah.
That,
what's left? Not much.
No, that Jaime is actually, in fact, the closest relative to King Robert alive if Tommen dies.
Yeah, and I mean, he's the head of Lannisters, and the Lannisters going to follow him, so it has more to do with strength than straight bloodlines.
Yeah, but if he has both, then he seems to be a fierce king.
Yeah.
And then we could have all the characters we love facing the White Walker threat in the very last season.
So Daenerys is going to spare the guy who killed her father?
I think she understands now that her father needed to die.
And Tyrion is the one who's going to convince her of this?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
And I see, if the wall doesn't come down in the next episode, it comes down in the final episode of season 7.
Okay.
That wall is not going to be standing very long.
Yeah. It's so big it has to come down somehow.
Well, I have another homework exercise for the listeners. If you... Now I'm talking about the last episode, no one. If you look at the final scene, is there any chance that the person talking to Jack in a car is actually the waif wearing Arya's face? Because I got this suggested to me, and I was thinking, wow, the scene makes a lot more sense and isn't as stupid if it is the waif. Because the waif had problems being no one, right? She was hating Arya too much. And if she's now wearing Arya's face, then I see a logical position for Arya in the rest of the story, because I can't see where Arya is going. What use will they have for a somewhat trained assassin in the final fight against the White Walkers?
Yeah.
So what's her point?
Go ahead.
I don't know, but if it is the waif, it would be really cool.
Is it so? It's Arya on the outside. Is it the waif or is it Arya on the inside?
No, it's the waif wearing.
It's the waif on the inside.
And the face on the wall is some face. That's a wild theory.
Yeah.
I believe Cersei's death in the next episode is a much more solid theory. But I just wanted to bring it up.
The waif cut off her own face and put on the wall, and then put on Arya's face on herself.
I'm glad we didn't see that, if that was what happened. But so your exercise, listeners, to go back and watch that scene, see if it makes sense, if it is actually the waif and not Arya.
And also write if you loved it or hated it.
Yes. So one more episode for this season. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How long will we have to wait? Are they actually going to do it next year then?
I don't know, and they say maybe only 7 episodes, but I'll see it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it, I mean.
Okay. Whew. Wow. I should say some stuff like you should go to Hard Nerd Cafe on YouTube and like and subscribe, because that's the YouTube channel where we are posting this episode. You should also give us an iTunes review if you can. Just tell us what you like, what you want us to change for the final 2 seasons, and if there's anything else you want us to do or feel that we could improve. Do you have anything else, Thomas?
No.
Okay, see you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of fucking Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones. There are swords and things doing lightning tricks, and they'll take you out if you try to beat them. They'll kill you and stop you and make you Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones. In the lightning they come to take on everyone, and you know it's the Game of fucking Thrones. Fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of